Men in gacha games is a rare sight, but the ability to hold hands with one of them? Almost impossible. Well, unless you're playing NTE and pulled for chaos. That's right, the six-pack warrior has finally arrived, and in this video, I'm gonna showcase Chaos and explain how he works, while at the same time, I'll also talk about his build options and share my first impressions of our very first S-rank male model in Neverness to Everness. Okay, to start things off, here's my Chaos build I'm using, and basically this is the recommended build you'll see in all of the guides. He is equipped with his signature What's Desired weapon arc. Any other options shown here are roughly 20% weaker compared to his signature, unless you fully refine Fluff of Ferocity from the Battle Pass, which then is about 12% worse. So all in all, his alternative weapon options are pretty decent. Now, I also equipped him with Street Boxer console set, and really it's the only good set, and then besides trying to obtain crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and damage percent substats, the main cartridge stat is Lakshana damage bonus here, but it can also be critical damage. The thing about Chaos is that he can easily overcap critical rate, especially when using his signature weapon, and I'll talk about this a bit more in team section. Otherwise, he also gains 16% crit damage from type 3 modules, and you can fit at most 4 of them when trying to achieve the Street Boxer set bonuses, so ultimately, he ends up with extra 64% critical damage, which is quite impressive. Finally, his abilities are all maxed out because I'm on the creator server, so keep that in mind because final content may differ on global, although when it comes to abilities leveling priority, go for basics, then ultimate, then skill and support. Lastly, he has no awakening powers in this video, and so I will showcase him at A0. Alright, so Chaos Kit is actually not that complex, which frankly makes my life easier a little, but there are still a few sneaky tricks he has up his, sleeve? Anyway, in a nutshell, Chaos is a main DPS who plays around his crime bar, which you can see it here in the shape of a sight, and when it fills up, he can deliver some nice damage. On top of that, he heavily favors Remora reaction, which I'll explain in a moment why that's the case, and overall, his performance at A0 is really good. Now, first when we look at the basics, it's a 5-hit combo, and by unleashing all 5 hits, he generates roughly 300 crime points, and he needs 1000 to fill up the entire bar, and as I said, then it turns into this badass sight. Next, we have the hold attack, which is made up of 2 parts. By default, when holding it, he performs this single sweep attack, which is pretty crappy in terms of damage with all things considered. However, his hold attack is how we spend the crime, and once you have 1000 points of crime, or basically when it's full, he will consume all crime and unleash the second part of the hold attack, which deals significantly higher damage. And this is the only way how we want to use his hold attack. Make sure he has full crime bar, then hold attack, and enjoy the big numbers. Lastly, his dodge counter, which the game calls critical riposte, generates 100 crime. So if you dodge counter, nice, faster way to fill up the bar. Moving over, his skill can mark up to 2 enemies with a debuff called Warrant, which improves the damage he deals to them by 20%. However, this can be increased to 30% once you unlock his second passive ability. Oh, and the skill also generates 100 crime and deals decent damage. Finally, we have his ultimate. This bad boy literally becomes the hottest thing in the city. Chaos. So hot right now. Chaos. While at the same time, the ultimate deals good AoE damage, and also applies Warrant on every enemy it hits. Most importantly, Chaos enters Dread Echo state for 12 seconds, and while he is a hot man, he will generate 150 crime every second, so you can quickly fill up his crime bar and unleash way more hold attacks. Still, and this is quite surprising, but Chaos delivers his hardest hitting attack from the first passive, which deals a huge number when Remora expires on an enemy. Not only that, if Remora's duration is extended, the damage can be improved by up to 300%, or by up to 4 times, and with Hathor on the team, this will be super easy to achieve, since she extends base 5 seconds of Remora's duration by 12 extra seconds. As a reminder, Remora's Esper cycle is achieved when combining Cosmos with Lakshana. Oh, and I tested this myself. If I apply 2 Remoras in quick succession, only one of them triggers the big hit from Chaos. So sadly, we cannot abuse this mechanic by spamming Remora over and over. But that's basically his entire kit, which means Chaos playstyle is really simple. Just use skill and ultimate to mark the enemy, fill up the crime bar, and use hold attack to unleash its second stronger version. Still, for those of you who want to learn a basic rotation, no worries, I got you. First, start with his skill, then swap between other teammates and set up buffs and debuffs with them, then finally swap back to Chaos, trigger his ultimate, and then use his 5-hit combo, followed by hold attack, and repeat it again until his ultimate ends. After Afterwards, use his skill, swap out, and rinse and repeat. Keep in mind, dodge counter is a really effective way to build up his crime bar, so don't worry about spamming attacks. Dodging them also helps him a lot, and not just because he can stay alive. Now, outside of combat, Chaos can place up to 2 personal teleportation points thanks to his doggy. What a good doggy. And no, I know what you're thinking. You cannot place a teleportation on a moving train, sadly. Although, funnily enough, you summon the teleportation by holding the G button on PC, but if you just press it, he actually puts on the mask, or press it again and he removes it. Nice option to have. Otherwise, the dude also enjoys fishing despite his edgy name, and he can help you improve the sea angler activity in various ways. Oh, and his plunge attack supposedly reveals other enemies around the area. I don't know, could be useful. Alright, enough of this. Let's talk about the teams. So, I'll just keep it simple. The best team with Chaos right now seems to be with Zero, Hathor, and Haniel. Now, Zero is super important for Chaos because he or she, I'll just refer to her as a she, basically Zero's skill allows instant Esper cycling, which is important to trigger all the time since Street Boxer's set needs Remora or Stain to provide that extra 14% critical rate. And with Zero, that will be easy to achieve consistently. Keep in mind though, people usually build Zero with Cycle Intensity stat in mind because she's a very popular pick in Blossom teams. However, with Chaos, Cycle Intensity literally does nothing since Remora cannot be improved with it, so build her as a sub DPS instead, focusing on critical rate and damage as usual. Still, the other reason why Zero matters is that since she can help trigger Remora really fast, this brings us to Hathor, who is yet another extremely important teammate for Chaos. You see, that big number that pops up from Chaos' passive ability when Remora ends is quite impressive, right? Well, Hathor's passive ability extends Remora's duration, which in return makes Chaos' passive hit harder when Remora expires on an enemy. In fact, it's a 4 times true multiplier when achieved. So in other words, without Hathor, this passive is much weaker. Not only that, but enemies affected by Remora also will improve everyone's critical rate by 10%. Oh, and obviously, Hathor can also be a good sub DPS. So all in all, you want Hathor in Chaos team. Keep in mind, as I said at the start of the video, it's really easy to overcap critical rate with Chaos, especially with Hathor in the team. Plus he gains another 4% when his bond is maxed out. So if you're using something like his signature weapon, always go for critical damage or Lakshana damage bonus on the cartridge's main stat. Lastly, we have Haniel, and she's our little buffer for the team, since she can boost attack and more importantly, she can help trigger Stain reaction, which results in the enemy taking 20% more Lakshana and Psyche damage for 12 seconds. Quite an important buff for the team since Hathor and Chaos both are Lakshana damage dealers. Oh, and keep in mind, Cycle Intensity helps further boost this bonus, so make sure to build Haniel with this stat. But yeah, this team is really strong. I'd say in the current so-called meta, it's about as good as your typical Blossom team. However, as you've probably noticed, Chaos is competing for Zero, not just to hold hands and spend time together, but also he wants that instant Esper cycling. Still, you can replace Zero with Hattori, or you can also replace Hathor with Hattori. It won't be as good, but it's an alternative. Otherwise, if you need sustain option, you can replace Haniel with Fadia. Now, if you want to just straight up use Chaos in a Blossom team, that can be done. In fact, this is a pretty decent charged Blossom team with Juan and Zero, while the last slot can be either Haniel or Sakiri. And then finally, this is more of an experimental comp, but you could go for something like this break focus team with Daffodil. I don't know, I just like the assets Daffodil brings to the team. Although on a more serious note, this team is quite fun, but I'd only recommend it for experienced players. The most important question, but why male models? And also, what do I think about Chaos? Well, as I'm yapping, I'll just roll the footage of his alternate costumes since he has 2 of them. Anyway, I think A0 Chaos is pretty much in line with other top DPS performers, who also have Zero Awakenings. His kit is really simple, which for some might be a detriment if you're looking for a more complex unit to mess around with, although there are some advanced techniques you can do, like cancelling the end lag of his hold attack's second moveset by holding any direction and just mashing the attack button. Otherwise, his top team with Hathor, Zero, and Haniel performs about as well as the top Blossom teams, which are considered to be some of the best in the game. So all in all, the dude isn't power creeping anyone, he is just a solid dude, my dude. As for Awakenings, honestly, they aren't super impressive. If you're thinking of investing in him vertically, the best one to activate if you get 1 dupe would be either a 6th or 2nd Awakening, and then if you get another copy, then activating any of these 2 combinations seems good enough. But I was told that a whale player who gets Chaos fully awakened can expect him to dish out roughly double the damage. So for that one whale watching the video, go for it, I guess. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, don't forget to like and subscribe or else Chaos will be sad. Bye.